internet is very democratic. It's a democratic tool. It doesn't ask you your religion. It doesn't ask your caste. Or anybody can be connected. If you're connected, there is no difference. And that's the level of thought process started going on. And then I thought that if it is democratic, why not we connect everyone so that everybody is equal?
Hello and welcome back to the second episode of EDGE, presented to you by Museum of Digital Society in collaboration with Digital Empowerment Foundation. Today we continue the story that we stopped at last time, where we discussed how the internet was developing, especially between 1995 to 2000, and how Osama's journey went from being a part of tech development to government development with internet, and then coming to community in this era. This episode will feature 2000 to 2005, while we talk about advancement that was happening in the field of technology, advancement that was happening when India was adopting internet and the technology that came with it, and how the community started using the internet as a public service. Welcome, Osama, to episode 2 of EDGE. Let's go back to the early 2000s. In the last episode, we stopped at discussing the internet economy of India, a book that you wrote to understand the internet economy. And I remember you said in the last episode that you found the terminology really exciting, internet economy. Do you want to talk to us about that a little bit?
Yeah, it's interesting because, I was not only fascinated by this terminology called internet economy, but at that time, I also came to know about a book called Attention Economy by an author called Marcel Bullinga. And I wrote an email to him saying that I got this book, but people are now talking digital and information economy and internet economy. You are talking attention economy. What is this? So, it was very clear at that time that there is a new kind of economy, new economy people have been saying.
Yeah.
There is a new set of economy coming. There is a new set of players coming, there's a new set of way of life coming and all that. And since I was also reading this magazine on internet economy or about internet economy, which was basically based on dotcom boom, the whole World Wide Web, internet and dotcom boom. Why I say boom is also because it busted. Later, about 10 years later, that magazine got closed because it was so focused on that dotcom boom that when the boom busted, the magazine also got busted. It also got closed. But coming to that one, since I was also, the whole sense of journalism was not going, and we were running a newsletter called I Know Me, which is the shorter form of abbreviation of internet economy, and we were covering the whole country's development and all that. What we did is that we decided to, why not we document each and every new transaction that is taking place, every new money that is being promised in the internet era. For example, Tata announced that they are launching 2,000 crore or 100,000 crore, 100,000 whatever, or $100 million company related to internet. Or somebody says that, launched a website which is actually a business making proposition, or so on and so forth, like fashion photography book or whatever online. So this we started tracking each and every announcement for 1 year. So we documented each announcement for 2000, and the total money that we counted was $20 billion.
$20 billion, you counted in what subjects?
No, counted that people are committing to internet.
Oh, wow.
$20 billion. It's something like, when you say industry, industry lagao, hamare yahan. So you count that so many people are investing so much of money in creating industry. So I'm saying in the new internet economy, so much money was committed.
Yeah.
And we counted, and that was done so well in methodologically, and we wrote the whole book called The Internet Economy of India. And I didn't write it myself alone. There were many chapters written by many other contributors. But we actually discussed every aspect of what is affecting internet economy, what is this new economy, what is the size of this new economy. And that book, when it was launched, it was self-published. It was not published by like some big publisher or something. It got so much attention. We were on every TV channel to talk about that so much of money is going and all that. And then I realized that, oh my God, what we have done is not a small thing, and that is when, so one thing is that internet economy, then sizing it to $20 billion, documenting it, and then letting the world know. And then realizing in that writing of the book, I realized the power or the being powerless of being digital divide. So this term called digital divide hit me very hard. And there was too many coincidences. I was already in touch with IT and this and that. And then I started this new company, which dotcom, which was giving these services. And it was doing extremely well in 2002-3, but we also know that 9/11 happened around that time, right? Which affected each and every economy of the world, every aspects of the world. And then we realized that even the software industry, the dot-com industry, and every new also got affected, because India was the shop for cheap developers, or everybody was talking about supplying software from here or giving a software service and all that. India was booming at that time. That's the trend here. Around the same time, government of India also started experimenting a lot of online things. And the leaders were Bangalore and Karnataka, Andhra, Kerala, and some parts were being experimented in Madhya Pradesh and also Northeast. So all this was happening at that time. And I got Chevening Scholarship in 2002. And I went to London and Manchester to do my advanced, advanced IT program, which was management program. And it was meant for the young CEOs, So it was a very special Chevening Scholarship program. I got a full scholarship. So I went there. When I came from there in 2002 and 3, at that time, I started feeling that I am not in the right place. I am, just selling software, selling business, doing .com for people and all that is not, I was not enjoying, because, I was not an MBA, I was growing with the love for internet and also what internet could do. So I realized that last 5 years, internet could do a lot with me, but now I was getting into this rhythm of what can I do for with internet for others. I think so. There was a metamorphosis going on, life metamorphosis also going on. I started questioning my existence. I was thinking that, what am I doing? Business is good and all that, but am I going to just keep on selling products and running a business and all that? And then digital divide came in my mind, and then I started the whole last, I was more than 13 by that time, because DF was created in 2002, and I was already 34 or touching to 35. And then I realized that no, I don't want to do it. I discussed with Shefali, my partner, and we said that enough is enough. I'm not doing it. And by that time I had registered, I started thinking of an organization which can do this. And this entire, thinking started coming, is that what am I meant for, and things like that. And poverty was a very strong burden showing on my face and my body and my mind and everything. And I think how this internet can solve the problem of poverty, and how internet can solve them. And then I realized that internet is very democratic. It's a democratic tool. It doesn't ask you your religion. It doesn't ask your caste, or anybody can be connected. If you're connected, there is no difference. And that's the level of, thought process started going on. And then I thought that if it is democratic, why not we connect everyone so that everybody is equal, and that is how DF was born. And that's the reason it says empowering people at the edge of information, Digital Empowerment Foundation. Now people say that how could you think digital in 2002?
Yeah.
Of course, I had an advantage because of being into part of digital.
But before you answer that, I want to go back and understand that this was the era, this was the time, at least 2000 to 2003, when the IT Act was passed and IRCTC launched the train booking portal, right? And suddenly the internet came from 1% to the masses, because then they said that you can now start availing services online. And this is also the time when dial-up, say, we shifted to cable. And a lot of development people were seeing, people were being more, acceptable of this new technology. They were learning, there was more digital literacy happening. So when you thought of DEF and you said that it was a space for you personally where it was the intersection of you being embedded in technology but also feeling existential, why did you think that digital was the answer?
Yeah, so if you see whether it's IT Act, government trying to do, IRCT is happening, website is being launched, government is also launching website for each and every ministry. E-Chopal had at that time, I think, had started by ITC, connecting or providing linkages to the farmers and so on and so forth. But like the metamorphosis has already happened to me, and it was accepted and partnered by my wife, and we were together. By then, we had both the children born. And so you can imagine and we are not like, well-to-do family from financially. So we don't have, when I left Hindustan Times, went to start a company. And then when I left company, there was no money even in the company, So we decided very consciously that we are getting into something where there is no money and we will have to earn bread and at the same time serve the people. So what I'm actually trying to bring, that we already decided that rest of our life we are going to use ourselves to serve, to make ourselves useful for the people. And that thought was already there. So nothing was looking like challenge. And nothing was looking like cannot be done. So how can be done was always there. And when you ask this question that how internet can solve poverty problem, my idea was that can we take the technology to the people rather than asking the people to come to technology. Right? So let's take the technology to them. Let them use, let them understand, let them adopt it. Because one thing was very clear, connectivity is like a road. Connectivity is like an air. Connectivity is like an oxygen. Connectivity is like this. Like the way oxygen has now become polluted, connectivity is also becoming polluted. But that's not because connectivity has a problem. It's because what you flow on the connectivity is the problem. Similarly, oxygen is as much as in the air as it was before. But now we are filled with pollution.
Yeah.
Oxygen hasn't gone back, but the pollution is still very high. So our job is all the time that how do you make this oxygen or connectivity or road or this basic infrastructure reach to the people, and then leave it to the people to, face the challenge of, let's say, language or affordability or, literacy or capability and capacity. But pehle leke to jao. I mean, if you can't take the road, I can't even walk properly, because even if I have to walk, road is a better parchment to walk than uneven land.
Absolutely.
So that was the main reason why DF was created, and that is the thought that we will always take the technology to the people, or this medium to the people, or this fundamental right to the people, and then let it empower people and let them also empower the technology with their content and with their ability. That was the idea.
That sounds amazing. I think you mentioned that you thought about this as a family and your partner was helpful during that time as well. I just wanted to know that, when you established Digital Empowerment Foundation, what did that first year look like? What kind of challenges did you face? Where were you operating out of? And did you ever think that it would become an organization now in 2025 that has touched like 35 million people?
Yeah, so it's I would say that I would say we were also very lucky, and we were also, whatever we were doing was being accepted by the people, heard by the people, heard by the government, heard by the corporates, heard by the grassroots people. And at the same time, we were also lucky to keep our shoulder in the right place, keep our head on the shoulder, keep our heart in the right place. That the basics was there, but we were certainly lucky that we got paid off with right kind of thing. For example, 2002 December is the date. December, that means 2002 is gone. It's virtually from 2003. In 2003 only, I just get a mail from somebody called World Summit Award chairperson saying that we would like to offer you to be the country e-content expert for nominating best e-content from India for this award called World Summit Award. And, and this is created under the aegis of United Nations World Summit on Information Society. And World Summit on Information Society was going to take place. But before that, this WSA was created for that. This is a person called Dr. Professor Peter Brook. I mean, there are hundreds of people who were doing lots of things in India. Why did I get this? I would say that it was pure luck or whatever. Maybe because I was doing iknowme.com. So we were already doing something. Maybe I was already writing in international journals. Maybe we had done .com for the Hindustan Times. There are many reasons, but the point is that, there could be. But at the same time, there are many other people also doing great job at that time. For example, somebody who was running NASCOM at that time, or somebody else. They did. I mean, I got it. I picked it up. I went to Dubai for the jury and nominated from products from here. Immediately, we got into a UN domain. So that was a big learning space, So in 2003, and then when I met Peter Brook, we did the jury. 30 countries expert has got together to judge the nominations from 120 plus countries. I mean, all e-governance, e-learning, e-finance, e-business, all those things, that typical before everything that you're learning. Where will you get this chance to get international nomination? And when I went for that grand jury, first I was expert, then I was selected for grand jury. And in the grand jury, I saw 30 countries here. And I immediately said, hey, all 30 countries experts, can I interview you? I would convert all your interviews into a book. And then Peter Brook was so delighted. He said that, okay, I will also give you, a company to do this book. And within 3 months, we did the book. We met in September in Dubai, and in December or something, we were supposed to meet in, there are 2-3 months gap, in Geneva for the WSIS, when Kofi Annan announced WSIS, World Summit on Information Society. We were there with the book.
Nice.
30 countries, people contributed in a book. And guess what? Everybody bought the book.
Can you tell us what the book was called?
It's called E-Content, Voices from the Ground.
Nice.
So it's like 25 to 30 countries, e-content status, spoken by or told by or written by the experts.
Nice. Okay.
So it was a good content, good compilation. So that happened.
Yeah.
And
so
then
no, before you go on, because you said that you were the first expert to be chosen from India, and you were coming from an experience where you had shifted from tech to media to community. Can you give us like a few examples from the first jury round that you did for World Summit Award, where you saw innovation and you realized that digital can actually change lives? Like, what did the innovation at that time look like globally?
Oh, so globally, people were already in a very advanced stage of e-governance, very advanced stage of e-learning, very advanced stage of e-business, of course. But most of the things, so the whole world was at the time creating website to do things.
Okay.
That was the era, right? So let's say in e-culture and heritage, we were seeing great nominations where, the whole of Gaza is digitized, or the
Wow.
Palestine is digitized by someone, or somebody has created a amazing walkthrough of some heritage place or something, or some museum is online. How would you experience museum online? This was very high. Even today, there is not a single museum in a 3D or a virtual reality we have in India.
Yeah.
At that time, we were seeing all this. In e-business, how could you do online transaction even at that time? Pay online. All those things had started at that time. So
in the early 2000s?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It already started. But they might be doing in their own country or something, but it's not globally. Lots of fashion trends, we saw great website. So it was an era where you need to have a great, attractive, interactive website. That was the era. It was the era of dotcom to that level.
Yeah. I think for a lot of people, Y2K is the sense of aesthetic, which now the generation is going back to, which is these poppy colors and vibrant designs. And I remember seeing the WSA, the early designs that are uploaded on the website as well, and they really resonate with that, the early technology. So when you...
But I also want to just say here is that when you see that here, there in the international, you come back in India and you say, we are still doing PDFs.
Yeah.
We are still doing digital scanning and uploading. That was the digitizing. Unfortunately, that is still there in most of the government website even today. But at that time, that was digitization happening in our country. The creative digitization, holistic digitization was mostly happening only in the corporate sector, I guess. Yeah.
So interestingly, this was also the time when we saw the first social media platform technically, and I have used it. I remember using it. Orkut was, launched at that time. And we also saw the rise of Wikipedia. Suddenly we had this almost library of different knowledge systems from across the world on a central platform. So when innovation like this was happening, and you already mentioned that there was an award that was a global award instituted by the UN, how did you bring all of this back, this advancement that was happening at a very fast pace, back to India because you had started DAF?
So there are 3 levels how it related. I could relate, and also that can tell that it also was preparing us to write history in a way, or be part of the history. Is that one way is that I learned that digital can change the world, it can affect the world, which was very clear. But relating to India, I realized in around 2003 or 4, I was working with a financial inclusion company as a consultant to create a magazine called Small Change. And journalism is just not leaving me, So, since Shefali, my wife and partner, she is designer, so she was designing for DEF and everything. All content and design was by her. So, all DEF for the first 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we were doing this magazine, and what I realized is that whenever I used to go to any conference, people were talking about ICT for development. That was the buzzword of development sector for technology. So ICT is information communication technology for development. So in short, it is written ICT, 4 numerical and D. It was the trend for talking, if you're talking development. And I realized that everybody is speaking something that I can't even understand and relate to the poverty and people. And then, you know what? I stopped everything. I traveled the whole country.
You went across India?
Across India. First stop, I went and met the IT secretary of Kerala. And because Akshaya was the first project of the country, which is the earlier version of CSC, Common Service Center. And I went there, and I went for just to see Akshaya, but I also saw another municipality level of initiative called Friends. So I did that. From there, I went to study Bhumi in Karnataka, which was very famous about recording land records.
Yeah.
So Akshaya was the village level digital center at that time for digital literacy and providing people digital services.
Oh.
Yes, at that time. And even at that time, Malappuram, which is considered to be the most backward district of Kerala, was announced to be the first district Kerala was targeting to make 100% digital literacy.
In the early 2000s.
That was the commitment of Kerala. It hasn't stopped yet. They have been doing like this at that time. So I went there. Then I went to Karnataka. Then I went to Andhra. Andhra was doing e-seva. Almost replication of Akshaya in Kerala. They were doing e-seva, but it's only one district where Sanjay Jaju was a district collector. I went straight to his home and say, show what you were doing there in West Godavari. And I saw what he was doing with e-seva. And e-seva is, now later became me-seva in Andhra, and then also got adopted in Telangana. Then from there, I went to Tamil Nadu. Where did I go? I go to MSSRF. MSSRF was very famous for doing great research work and the climatic work and agriculture work because of the MS Swaminathan. And they had a project where they were doing ICT by announcing on mics of mandirs for the fishermen.
Wow, okay.
For the fishermen, before they get into the sea. That today should you go into the sea or not, what kind of weather is there and all that.
Oh, so they were tracking it digitally but announcing it physically.
Yes, they had a tie-up with the Mausam Vibhag or whatever you call it, and then they were announcing locally with the fishermen, and then so everybody will come to the temple, listen to the announcement, and then they go and so that is how they were using ICT. Then from there I went to Madhya Pradesh, where ITC has started e-Chaupal, that how they are doing the connecting and the services to the farmers and all that. From there straight I went to Haryana, where there was another organization, I'm forgetting, I think Drishti was doing a project with grassroots level digital centers and all that. Then from there I went the same Drishti in Tezpur in Assam. So I literally traveled and I created a manuscript of 10 chapters of such things.
Is this
which
the New India?
never got published. So I have requested our organization's publishing department to publish it this year.
But I remember reading some of this in this book called The New India, which I think...
New India was different. New India culled out from the award, and I will come to that one.
Okay.
So this is how... So I am learning India, what kind of initiative is touching the lives of the people.
Yeah.
And there are, and incidentally, almost most of them were government driven. Very few are private. One Drishti was private and by an NGO, but and from the corporate, e-Chaupal was the private one. But later we found out that e-Chaupal is more about digitizing or digitally enabling their supply chain of mandi.
Oh, okay.
So it was less of empowering them, but more. But they involved the community. Community means farmers. So that was a great thing. So I am studying, and then when I came back, I realized everybody in these conferences with their PPT were just blabbering. And what I was thinking, a great knowledge, they had no idea. Anywhere I went, people had no idea what was happening on the ground, what is required on the ground. And that is something that got inbuilt in our organization, that is how we create models of digital models of what we are now known. That how do you convert the digital to be the digital, but with the community. Yeah. And that is the thing that one. But as a trend, at that time, government picked up very fast to get into the digitization of the services and ownership that they had. Less on how do they still benefit the community. It was more like, that is how I can easily differentiate between, what is e-governance. People say that's something that can serve people better. I don't think so. E-governance ideally is something that smoothens the bureaucratic management of a welfare state to serve the community. That is why the reason why most of the e-governance projects has not touched the lives of the people better, because it has created a very good system, but it hasn't reached to the people to be utilized properly.
So, I think this is something that we see in the work that we do today also, of how systems are created, but they're created in a zoomed out approach where they don't really look after or understand the need of the community, but they think this would be a good solution. So when you were designing programs, keeping the community at the center of what you were doing at DEF, what were the early indicators of the programs that you wanted to work on? Did you think that it would be enabled through on-ground implementation, through maybe creating an award system like this here, or if you just wanted to make sure that you travel and you learn more and then bring that knowledge back to Delhi?
So, as far as the Digital Empowerment Foundation is concerned, I would say from 2003 to 2006 or 7, we are still in the knowledge era of understanding ourselves. How do we? So it was still not going to do anything on the ground, learning from the ground, writing about the work that is being done on the ground. For example, at that time, we got a project from National Institute of Smart Governance to write e-governance projects. And that was a great learning that we were doing. At that time, I also instituted Manthan Award, which is the country-based award for WSA.
Oh, so you partnered
Yeah, so
with
I learned from them, from Peter Brook and WSA, that how award could be so empowering. And when we created the award in India, first time itself, we got more than 100 nominations.
Oh.
Yes, that means there's so much happening in India.
Yeah.
There was, so here also you can say award is what? It's a knowledge repository of best practices, right? From there you choose. So you are also learning. You are also recognizing the people who are doing great work. So it was a great, and you are creating a community of best practitioners and things like that. But at the same time, since we want to serve the people, we are also learning what is good, what is not so good, right? And guess what? One of the projects that we did at that time with Media Lab Asia, which was created by the Ministry of IT in association with the MIT Media Lab, called Media Lab Asia. And we got a project called Gyanpedia. So when you were talking about Wikipedia, Wikipedia was doing was there on that time. And that already created a mindset in our thing, is that because Wikipedia still is maybe community driven, but the knowledge is quite top down, right?
Yeah.
It's not created by the children or whatever. It is created by still experts, you know, editors and all that, right? So guess what we did in Gyanpedia? In Gyanpedia, we went to those schools where digital labs were already established at that time, mid-2000 or earlier than that. And we started collecting all the content created by the children on computer.
So whatever they were making,
it's a library of children's digital content.
Okay.
And even today, when you click gyanpedia.org or .in, it's archived because that project got closed. You will still see the children writing about Einstein, writing about computer, making presentation and all that.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
And they were using MS Paint and all of
those
that.
Those kind of things.
Nice.
Yeah. PPT had started. I mean, PPT was there already. MS Office was there already. But I also want to comment a little bit on Wikipedia was a big movement. Now it is, of course, one of the biggest repository, and anybody who is searching anything, the first result comes from Wikipedia. And you trust.
Yeah.
You know, you trust also. But at that time when it came, it was still seen as the open source tech movement kind of product.
Yeah.
It was not seen as the mass, adaptability project or something. It was still driven because, technologists, technology developers, open source people, all these are techie, all these, the technology is still in the hands of these activists or these people, So like the history of internet, which was actually developed by different kind of, the Defense Department, and the technology was such that it could have gone to public. Berners-Lee then invented World Wide Web face of the face of the internet, which is World Wide Web, and then how it became open source adda for the world connectivity was still top down, I would say. It hasn't changed, by the way. Most of the time it is always top down, and by the time it go and touch, you create a new technology, you create a new barrier of achievement or aspiration, or either because of the market, because now it's completely driven by market. You buy one mobile, it's obsolete in 1 year or 2 years. It's so not so nice, because we use in our villages most of the old computers, and they are absolutely perfectly fine. But suddenly you say that its chip will not match with this one, and this one will not match with this one, and it becomes haywire.
Yeah. So I think at that time, it's very interesting that you mentioned the word digital divide, because it's a word that we are still using even in 2025, with technology being the best that is out there. And I want to ask you a last question and bring this episode to a close with it. But coming and working in the community is never easy, because these are people who are always excluded from all narratives. But you were able to do that. You were able to go into the community, to talk to them, to build a digitally developed narrative for them. How did you gain that trust? The trust that we have on Wikipedia, for example, which is diminishing. The trust on digital is diminishing. So in that era, with technology that was not accessible to them, that was not, easily available to them, how did you bring this idea in their mind that this could be a solution to a problem that they are facing?
I will attribute this as a trait of my personality. I did not get polluted by the education system of the world, which actually teaches you not to be trusting first, and then develop trust. And also the education system is made in such a way that if you have this degree, then the rest of the people are lower than you or something. So all these traits were not in me, and that was a natural trait which became very helpful, because and good that you asked this question, because this is also a part of a very strong ethos of DEF. You know what? We feel that everybody is equal. When we say equal, we don't say it because they have the same thing, or we have the same thing, or the same caste. We say equal because everybody is born equal, and everybody has a natural intelligence and knowledge, right? It is just that we create a system and a scenario where we say that your knowledge is lower than my knowledge, and my knowledge is better than somebody else's knowledge. So I feel that everywhere you go on the ground, they are more knowledgeable about their ecosystem and all that. So there is no need for you to be, showing that you are more knowledgeable. It's a pathetic situation that, because of the, lots of people ruled on us, especially the Britishers. They created a sense that anybody who is coming from the city is more knowledgeable, and anybody in the village is not so knowledgeable. That's not the scenario with which go. So for me, going into the village, number one, I enjoy it as a traveler. Number two, since I trust them, because I grew up in a village, I know what kind of magic happens in the villages. I have a very strong sense of understanding the adventures of the villagers. You play with toys, they make toys. You buy a mat, they make mat. You buy a cloth, they make cloth. You buy a song and listen to the song, they sing. Right? You eat fish by buying, they have fish. You buy water, they have water. You buy the vegetables, and they make vegetables.
They grow them,
You eat all your products, it comes from them. So they are producers. How can producer be less knowledgeable than you? In every aspects of life. From मौसम को समझने से लेके ज़मीन को समझने से लेके, you understand land or soil and weather or air or anything, they know better than you. And their humility has been taken for a ride. So the entire craft sector, the entire GI sector, the entire agriculture sector, all producers are scientists, mathematicians. They are geniuses, and we just are consumers. And in this case, consumer is bigger than the producer. You have created such a bad market. So therefore, that is not a thing that I worry about, and it is also in the organization. You know, and we all know who work together, that we don't. Anybody says that we have to put a connectivity in this village, you say, "Wow, let's go! It's a new place." We have to climb new mountain. We have to hide new. We will learn new language. We will know new culture. We will know new dress. We will know new producers and things like that. So it's always beautiful to that. The second is that since you go with that trust, you immediately get accepted.
Yeah.
And therefore they allow you, theek hai, computer laga do. Okay, no problem, put connectivity. Because you are also not saying that I have come here to give computer and put my person. No, we are saying that, from you people only, somebody will manage this computer, somebody will manage this connectivity, somebody will use this service, and somebody will provide this service. This person from your village will only earn money from you to do all this. This is how we work, And when the connectivity become obsolete, we just disappear from them. When everybody is connected, then we disappear. We don't have to be everywhere,
Yeah.
So we learned that the real knowledge and wisdom is at the grassroots level, but they are not connected. The world is deprived of their knowledge. That is how we see. They are not deprived of your knowledge because they don't need it, perhaps. But the world is deprived of their knowledge, and therefore, and their product, and their services, and their wisdom, and their experience. All this is required to make the world better.
Yeah.
So absolutely. I would say that internet is good when it becomes hyper-local, and it does, right? It does. When the internet come to you as a globalization, it's a failure.
Yeah.
If the internet comes as a sourcing your products and wisdom and knowledge, then it's not a failure. It becomes hyper-local.
Yeah.
It's so it's like water. Whatever plate you put in, it becomes that color.
Yeah. That was really eloquently put. Thank you so much. In the next episode, we will continue the journey from exclusion to inclusion and still continue talking to Osama and understand what was happening between 2000 and 2005 and then coming to the early 2010s. Thank you very much.